out of all my friends that I know, you probably have the squarest jaw.
Me?
Yes.
Really?
By far. You by far have the most defined jaw.
Yeah.
No way.
Can't tell the difference.
Get out of here.
Do you find yourself being typecast as like the kind of
Jaw guy.
military, the jaw guy, the military-esque, like clean cut? I guess military guy, cop guy.
Military hero.
So when you say jaw, you mean like this part or like this part?
A little bit here,
Okay.
but also this corner right here.
Like this right
Like,
here.
this is very defined.
Your cheekbones too.
The cheekbones.
You got those high
Really?
cheekbones.
Yeah. That's funny.
And there's a line that
Yeah.
goes here too, like a very clearly defined line.
Kids made fun of me in
Really?
school. They said I had a head like a pentagon because we were learning shapes, and they're like, "Oh, that looks like Lou's head," and I'm like, and I didn't know, and I was like, I just thought I had this blocky head, and like I was bummed about it for a long time. I was like, and then finally when I grew up and like my face kind of got out, like girls seemed to like they would say structured face or strong jaw. I'm like, I don't know what that really means, and I kind of see it now, but thank you, I appreciate that. I'm sorry, typecast. Enough about me. Typecasting. What were you saying?
Do you feel like you've been kind of typecast as like the military-esque character?
Look, Nico, I don't give a shit, man. I'm here to play, and I'm going to do my job the best. You can typecast me however you want, but I work my ass off to be as rounded off as possible in every which way. I challenge myself as an actor. I push myself physically. I push myself in terms of taking risks. I work my tail off to just do the small things important. So if I'm going to give someone a great performance, even if I'm not right for it, but people are eventually going to come around and say, of course we see him like this. I'm going to let people see that for themselves, though. I'm not going to tell them and say and kind of be resentful and say, oh, I don't want to do it because of this. If you're good at something or you fit some role, do it to the best of your ability. Make the best of it. It's like it's funny. It's like let's say like there's like the beautiful girl who comes up here from Des Moines, Iowa, right? And she's beautiful, very prettiest girl in her school, and then she becomes an actress, and then she keeps playing the hot girl or the stripper or this. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing saying like, well, I am more than the stripper. I don't want to do that. I'm beyond that. I can do other things. I'm better than just that. And then you don't get a job doing anything else, but you're self-sabotaging. So why not, if you're offered a job or if you're presented an opportunity to perform in a similar category, do that, because it's all about, for me, the performance and the moments within that. For me, it's beyond money. It's beyond fame. It's any of that. Like, I've seen all that. What I need is those true moments that affect people on screen. And it doesn't matter if you're a military, it doesn't matter if you're a stripper, it doesn't matter if you're a superhero. We're all human. And we have those moments. And for me as an artist, as an actor, that's what I give a shit about. Like, casting, at some point I'll basically be like, all right, I'll do your military movie, the 15th one I've done, if you pay me this much amount of money.
Yeah.
And if you want to pay it, that's fine, because I can kill it. Because there's never going to be a shortage of tough guy needing a tough guy or a military guy. I might not be right for it. But hey, I'm gonna make if the script is good, whatever. I'm happy to work. I'm happy to be an actor.
Yeah, I love that attitude.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, to be in a position. It's always worth like stepping back and like looking at how lucky one is to be even close to doing what you want to be doing. I mean, you're even more lucky to be doing what you actually want to be doing. But to even like kind of get close to it is already further than 99% of the people get to. And at least to me, it's always refreshing to see somebody who's like, yeah, I see that and I cherish it and I run with it with the energy I got. And I see that in you, and that's really cool.
Thank you, man. I mean, it's an act you can have, because it's just words, letters into words on a page, whatever the role is. Mm-hmm. But you can take those same words and have it done 50,000 ways by 50,000 different guys. You can make this one role incredible and incredibly memorable by just taking your own way and giving a shit enough to make it different and making it your own. Now, you lose those feelings and those drives when you start to feel you deserve more and you're better than just this and I can do more. That's all bullshit. That's all self-aggrandizing, entitled kind of mentality, thinking you're beyond anything, because you can lose yourself in a role regardless of what it is. I mean, if you say ex-military, that's not one or two guys. Like, people from all over the world, cultures, everything have been ex-military. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
What do you do personally that I guess differentiates you from the rest of the military faces or whatever that casting might be. Like
I just do the same thing every time, just the same thing. No.
Do you have like a secret that you employ more than you found other people, or that you've learned?
Let's get what do you mean, like a look or something?
No,
Or what?
like a way to internalize a character, or a way to I don't know, like a facial tick, or like something that you found where you can say, okay, this guy does it this way, this guy does it that way, but one thing that I've found is this secret works for me, and it works really well.
Well, I mean, I've done a lot of improv, which is working on low status. You know what I mean? And it's because high status is easy. You can be just the jerk and whatever all you want.
Wait, low status? Sorry, can you clarify what you
High status and low status. So an audience loves to see a transformation from low to high status. So if we're on stage and basically it's improv, so we choose our roles naturally, and you say, hey, and then you take the shopkeeper, the aggressive shopkeeper, and then I'm the aggressive florist, and then it's two aggressive guys going after each other. That's not interesting to see. They want to see a low status, a high status, and then I'm like the guy, okay, I'll keep sweeping the floor, I'm sorry, I'll just keep going. And then also the transformation from low status to high status. And then the sweeper go, oh my God, what is this? A lotto ticket? Screw you, I'm quitting, I'm done. Then they're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. People like to see that transformation. So working on low status stuff and just working enough to know what angles work for me, what things I like for my performance. It's very hard for me to watch my performance, which is kind of crazy because this is what I do, and I'll do it on set, and I love it, and then I see it, and I'm like, I don't want to see it. It's a little wacko, but I look at it from a very diagnostic standpoint, and in terms of what I can do differently.
That's interesting. I've never heard those terms used, the low status, high status thing. But
yeah,
that's real. I mean, that's the key to like a role right there. Is you have someone low status, and then the transformation to high status is really where the art form is.
Yes, and a lot of guys in my category that I think that look well. First of all, a lot of guys in my category are British, Australian. Guys that are international from different countries. I don't know. There's just an American kind of lack of this type, I guess. Because I see a lot of the guys working in roles that I would love to do there from. But that's aside the point. But I think just working and knowing what I can do. I have the tools in the toolbox to do certain things. Allows me the freedom to really lose myself within the role. So whereas I'd be upset if I could play one thing one way, and then keep getting hired. Well, yeah, it'd be frustrating because I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that one thing one way again. But no, I've worked to really dig to be able to do that one thing 50, 60 different ways and be like, oh, I could do it like this. So I don't ever see it really. I'll do military movies, whatever. It's all military expat stuff. You find those things in it based on the script, based on the character, what you can really play with. You use your past, you use what you can use. But I think that I have a very natural... people are understanding of me being former athlete, former military.
Yeah,
I'm a bigger dude. I'm not a huge dude, but I'm still I hold myself with a way that is very easy to go high status. So it's interesting in the formative aspect. I was saying it's interesting for someone who looks like me, who seems like they have it all together, to be very low status. That's interesting because we're like, that's not what we expect, So the softening, the kneading of the hardness, the exterior, the shell that comes out with that comes from being beaten down in this business, for years, and just keeping a good perspective about it.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. It's an interesting perspective on that. So when it comes to your style of acting, I mean, acting is one of those things that's really hard to define. I feel like for a lot of people, is it make believe? Are you just when I look sad, am I just moving my face muscles to where they would be if I was actually sad? Or am I trying to get really deep and bring up real emotion? And I feel like acting, it can fluctuate from all the way on the real side to all the way on the completely fabricated. I'm just, making a fake smile kind of side of things. Where does it lie for you? What is your approach to trying to portray a scene in an interesting but authentic way? How do you achieve that?
It's funny because, acting is exactly what you don't want to do. You don't want to act.
Right.
You want to get yourself and load yourself up with memories, with thoughts, with everything that's parallel with this character and this, how close as you can get it, and just living and being in that moment. Just living, just being, just doing nothing, not acting, not indicating, nothing, just sitting there. And I mean having thoughts. Shout out to Leslie Kahn, my awesome acting teacher. It's all about the thought. It's not about the thought of what I'm going to say. It's not about the thought of what you just said and how I feel about that and living through that moment. the audience will put themselves into the role, into the story. The minute you start acting, people go, "Oh, well, he's acting. Like he's not being that. You know, he's pretending to be that." Or if I'm sad, I'm like, don't try to cry if you're not going to cry. Like, just be sad. And if you can't get there, don't be an actor. But I can be sad I have a lot to be sad about, so I can do that and have thoughts. But it's funny because it's so counterintuitive to say I'm an actor. Like, you go to acting class to learn how to act, but then when you get to be an actor, you're not acting.
Yeah.
You're not pretending. You're just wearing your audition clothes every day. You know? So now I'm like, this is me.
So how do you reset when you get into a role and you're not acting and you're required to be sad or you're required to be eccentric? What do you go back to find yourself?
The gym has been my anchor for the most part in terms of really being one-on-one with my mind and my body, which is one thing. But I think, I just did a film called Dreamcatcher. It's going to be really cool. It's a thriller. And there's a scene when I had a nice 4-minute, like, I come in the theater and I'm looking for the guy and I see this and what is this? And a bloody thing here. And I'm like, oh my God. And then eventually I had to find the killer and then it was a death scene. And I wanted it to be really good because the guy was much smaller than me and he was trying to, like, suffocate me with this tarp. And I was like, I wouldn't believe that. If a guy comes up to me and says, I'm going to knock his ass out and run away. I'm done, right? So we added a little hit of the crowbar to the head and all that stuff, and he wasn't really, like, going for it. And I was like, you know what? This one, go for it. Like, really go for it. And he did. And it was scary because I knew what was going to sell the scene was the inhale and the bag goes into the mouth and whatever. And I took 3 good deep breaths, and it was I was suffocating. Like, I couldn't. And then eventually when I hit the ground, I had to pull, even though I was dead, I was out of frame, but I had to pull it away from my mouth. Because I was like, that's how people die and get suffocated, and you fucking die, and that's it. I'm sorry for cussing.
That's okay.
And I was driving along, and then all of a sudden this thought came into my mind. I was like, do I need to go see someone about this? Because I was like, did this leave an imprint in my mind? Because I'm like, that's scary shit. And then the scene, I was dead, but I was like, that was kind of gnarly. So that was intense. Resetting is just really kind of getting back to the work and kind of just, do what you can to kind of just release things physically and just get out of it. But know that your next job is not guaranteed. And you really want to be prepared when you go in for a role and not just jump ahead because things will come up that you're not prepared for and it'll be a disaster. So a lot of breathing exercises. Yeah. A lot of reading. I paint. Painting helps me really kind of get back down to, like, when I just exhale, I have a nice, much finer, sharp stroke, and it's good.
You have a style of painting? Yeah,
it's like, I'd say it's pop surrealist. It's very hard lines, colorful, very beautiful. Ferrigno_art on Instagram is all of it. And if you haven't seen it, you actually be like, wow, it's actually pretty good.
I'm gonna check it out.
But you never really finish with a piece of art, but these are pretty cool. And I have to say, I'm very proud of the work that I've done. But that helps me really kind of get back down to ground zero.
Yeah. If you enjoyed that clip, consider listening to the whole episode on the Corridor Cast. It's found on YouTube, youtube.com/CorridorCast. But you can also listen to it on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can find podcasts. That's right, guys. This clip is just a taste of the entire episode. It's great. Go listen to it.